Muñoz Arce. Welcome to the Neuroarchitect.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. It's a great honor to be here today.
Thank you.
It's a big pleasure to be in this amazing space with you.
Thank you. Please tell us more about your professional journey and the motivations behind your focus on biophilic design, sustainability, and humans' well-being.
Great. Well, my career began in interior design. For interior design, I studied business management and marketing because my father was also an interior designer. He didn't let me study for interior architecture, so I studied with that. But when I started to create spaces back in Belgium, I felt something that was missing at that moment, and I I was designing very functionally, even beautiful spaces, in my opinion, but I kept asking myself, are these environments truly supporting people's health or emotions, or are they connected to life? So the inner question that I had led me to biophilic design. Biophilic design is my passion and my modus of living, and also environmental psychology and regenerative systems. And over the years, I have deepened my knowledge in neuroscience, somatic practices, aromatherapy, and even spirituality. I love meditating and doing spirituality. And yeah, that's also my motto. I also become a mother.
Which year did you start asking this question?
Well, it started around 8 years ago when I started to do some courses on sustainability. And this led me to realizing, like, okay, I am a mother. What is going to happen to future generations? What's the impact of my design and my choices in spaces, people, the planet? So not only from the environmental point of view, but also of the mind point of view and the living point of view. So yeah, my motivation today is really rooted on the belief that the spaces are shaping our lives, as we all know, and they impact how we feel, how we relate to people, and how we can heal. How can we feel that health and well-being? And I also believe that design has a critical role to play in the well-being of both humans and the planet. So that's why I created Harmonia, and I have been spreading the word about health and well-being through my design as well. So I have those hats of advocacy and designer.
So which year did you start with Habitat Harmonia?
Harmonia started 6 years ago, and then I moved to Spain. So I moved to Spain. I have I decided at that moment, together with my husband, to start a new life and start a life for good of myself, for good of my kids. And Spain was calling me for a long time, and my husband as well. My husband is Dutch. And we decided to do this change because we felt that we were in a very stressful environment and in a very stressful type of work. So we decided to move to a more nature connected space here in Spain. And now we're living here next to Valencia, Spain for almost 6 years. So yeah, I cannot complain. It's beautiful. It's great weather. People are laughing all the time. So it does impact how we live.
So you stressed on the fact that motherhood made you also think more about the spaces. So you believe at some point that it must be caring space, nurturing, must be projecting a sense of protection and of continuity.
Completely right. Yes. Well, I started believing that spaces had a big impact once I started to read about neurodivergent people. As a matter of fact, one of my second child, is neurodivergent, has many problems with attention problems. He has dyslexia, etc. There are many problems that he has been having the last years. And we realized that his room changed the way he was reacting to certain things. So we made his room much more at ease with soft colors, natural materials and textures, and started to change. So when he was at school, he was really stressed, and when he came home and he was first going to nature and then into the his room, he started to change. Small changes, but we realized that it had an impact. So, you know, that's already the start of, okay, how can a space change or make us feel better, or make us feel thrive, or make us feel more cognitively aware, uh, or at ease, or etc. Many, how space can impact our health and well-being. So that was already an impact, talking about our kids.
So, if you want to say to the audience in simple words, what is biophilic design?
Simple words. Biophilic design is, for me, it's a way of designing, building, and spaces that are reconnecting us with nature. And it responds to a biological truth. As you know, we evolved in nature, and our bodies and minds still need natural rhythms, natural light, fresh air, textures, views, and sensory beauty to thrive. It's not about decoration that many people are thinking like, okay, this is just putting some plants and natural materials. It's about that reconnection. When we apply biophilic design, we lower the stress levels, improve focus, boost emotional resilience, and enhance health outcomes. So it has been proven in many spaces, in hospitals, in schools, in workplaces, at homes. And biophilic design, it goes much farther. It not only helps people thrive, it also supports the environment, and it encourages regenerative materials, biodiversity, and energy efficiency. So it's a design approach where humans and ecosystems both benefit. It's, for me, it's a great philosophy. It's a powerful path towards healing for people and for the planet.
Do you have any real implemented project or experience you have that you can tell us about in detail?
Yes, I have several. I can explain to you one of yeah, this one was awarded in several places, and I was a finalist in the Stephen Keller Awards from Living Future. It's biophilic house. So it's a house which the owners asked me to renovate it. They bought a house, and it didn't look nice. It had colors everywhere, and then the textures were really cold. So by doing a lot of survey, first of all, on their cognitive performances, their how they were feeling, their many surveys that we implemented, we realized that these people had a lot of stress, and also two of their kids were having anxieties and problems with also ADHD. So I changed and renovated almost all the house by changing, first of all, all the floors were implemented with wood. So we had wooden elements. We opened a lot of windows to the exterior, so there was a better connection. So we did a whole change in the house. And after 6 months, we did a post-occupational survey to see how was this implemented and what happened during those months. And we saw that the stress levels were reduced. They all said that they felt much better, connected to nature. They were almost even going much more to nature. They had a beautiful garden, but they didn't have that connection before. And they also had their kids were thriving better. They were more well, they felt happier. They were doing better at school. So this was an amazing work, and I realized that, okay, this has big impact, and that was the start of many other consultancies and projects that I've been doing. Mainly, I love doing home spaces because you have a connection with the people, and you can they're like friends at the end, and you can connect very well with people. But yeah, in the meantime, I have been consulting many other spaces. So yeah.
More about the other spaces, please.
Okay, so I had another space, for example, the workspaces. I had a great example here. This was quite encouraging. I'm talking about already 6 years ago when this was not so known, and we still were not in COVID, so people were not aware of the impact of their architecture in the workspaces, at least not here where I was working. So I did
Which
this
year was
speech
that?
6 years ago,
Oh,
2009.
okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They were not aware in 2019. They were still not aware or
Not,
understanding what it is about. Yes.
no, I'm still
Yeah.
not.
Yes. So you had at some point explain to many people what you do and try maybe not to convince them, but to tell them the benefits of this kind of work and
That's
try
it.
to simplify the words and how the process works for them to feel more comfortable with this new term.
That's it, Maria. That's what I do with any project, because as you know, most of the majority of the people, they don't know what an impact this type of methodology has on their health and well-being. So you have to kind of educate them and explain them the benefits. It's not just about aesthetics. It's not about making it beautiful in the eyes visually, but it's much more. So you have to really explain a lot. And what I do is, as I already explained, I advocate a lot on biophilic design, but also with my clients. So this was a workspace. This was a call center here in Spain. And okay, they wanted to make a nicer workspace, nicer. I said, okay, let me explain to you what are we going to do here. What's the implications of changing the whole environment through biophilic design. So I took it was a very nice experiment. I took, for example, some different elements, like a lemon. You would say, why did you take a lemon to do this pitch? But I was sitting with the CFO and the CEO and the HR manager, director in the space, and I said, okay, guys, close your eyes. And I started to do some experiments and tell, look, how do you feel when I put this lemon? I didn't say that it was a lemon. I just scratched the lemon. That they they smelled the lemon. I say, wow, it smells so good. I said, okay, imagine that you're in a space where you're feeling as good as what you're feeling right now, or that you're listening to something. Imagine that you're in a space where all the senses are being awakened in a positive way. So that was a great conversation. So instead of just convincing them, I started to talk to them. Now, how do you feel? And where do you go when you feel bad? And well, where do you go when you feel good? What are the spaces that you like the most? What are the how you connect yourself with yourself? Do you go to nature? How much do you go to nature? So these were the type of talks that we had as first pitch. And after that, I said, okay, interesting. Okay. So I went the second time, and then I went into, the benefits of biophilic design, the KPIs, the ROE. They want to listen if it's going to be something that they're going to earn some money, or it's going to be beneficial for their employees. And that was the start of this amazing project. And it's quite, when you're talking to workspace owners, they only want to hear what it's going to bring to me now. Their the return on investment has to be like very short. And so the the importance of explaining a long-term return on investment of the values, and all the values, the collateral values of implementing biophilic design or neuroscience-based design in their spaces, it's crucial when you're doing this type of design. So that was another project. And like this, I always have to change the pitch depending on where you are and for who you are talking, but always having into account that, okay, they need to get not the explanations of how biophilic design is nice and it's reconnected to nature. And I don't care about that, actually. So we have to talk their their words. They have to tell what is important for them. So yeah, that's part of my job.
I understand from what you speak that you had different kinds of challenges. So it's not like one kind of challenge. One of them is to explain to people what it is about, whether like for people who have work places or people
Yes.
who want to build for their families, for their children. You
Hmm.
have another challenge, which is to build for a family. You said the family members are quite similar in character at some point.
Mm.
But also they have, when you have a child with a special case, or when it's an adult also with a special case, you have to do something different in the house. But also you have this challenge of a workplace where people come from different backgrounds, or maybe different countries, different cultures, and you have to do something that at some point must fit for everyone. So what can you tell us about these challenges?
Okay, beautiful question. It is quite challenging, as you know. It is in terms we are all different, so there is not one fit all solution. But okay, there are several type of applications and methodologies and sciences and tools that we can fit to everyone. Like for example, when we are applying or we know the theories about the circadian rhythms, and we know how important daily light is. So having that into account, we should just think about that first of all. Well, that's one of the things that it's like a must. You have to always have daylight and try to have as much daylight as possible. And if not, try to adapt it in this environments the same way as the circadian rhythm. But okay, what do I do with that? So in a family, it's quite easy. I do, if it's a family with 2 kids or 3 kids, I do 5 different surveys. One for the parents, one for the mother, one for the father, and then separated surveys for the kids, which are a bit more easier with some graphics, and we do activity logs to follow their activities during the day. And that's an easy thing to do. It's a lot of work, but at the end you get a very nice impression of where they are, what they want, where they're going to, and kind of like the secret things that you not know at the beginning, but the feelings that you want to hear about them and how they want to feel in the future. When it's a workspace, as you said, when we have different type of people from different countries doing different tasks with different personalities, with so many varieties, then this gets more complicated. So first of all, as I said, one doesn't fit all. So we don't have to have like these big spaces that we had before, like spaces which all fit in the same space. We have to think about different activities. Where are we going to focus, learn? Where are we going to be more focused for writing, for working? Spaces to restore. Restorative spaces are really important. Spaces where people are going to just relax and take the time to, okay, restore for a few minutes and then go back to work. Spaces to talk, spaces to connect, spaces to meet, spaces to socialize, etc. So depending on the activities already, you can create different spaces. And then you have to think about, okay, imagine that those spaces are different for different activities. What type of people are going to come there? Are people who are more introverted, extroverted? An introverted person doesn't work the same as an extroverted one. So we have to think about how to apply those differences. And then we have again the cultures. Are people or even type of people? I imagine a woman who wants or who has a baby and needs to feed the kid and is taking giving breast to kids. Is there a space for her, or is a space for someone who's going to go and pray, or is there a space for crying? People are, when I ask that to people, are, where do your employees cry? Why are you asking me that? I said it's important. Oh yeah, they go to their toilets. That's not the space for crying. If you don't feel good, you have to have a space where you can be with yourself. And so quite
Relax, even to take this
even
power nap, maybe not necessarily to sleep, maybe just to close the eyes and detach from the noise of laptops or phone calls, and to be able to recharge, especially maybe after lunch. Some people need it to recharge and have these 3-4 hours left, maybe, because sometimes it's
that's
in the
it.
middle of the day.
Yes, that's it. Maria, we are not robots. We cannot work 8 hours in a row and be 100% giving everything in eight
And do it
hours
every day.
and do it every day. That's impossible. And we know that with less, with having these pauses, to having these connections, going outside, reconnecting with nature, maybe going to the park, maybe we are even more productive. So having that into account, then you have to implement that into those spaces. So it's quite a complex thing. And we are architects, but we need also sociologists, anthropologists, and many other disciplines to co-create that space. And I always say, I don't create those spaces. I don't design those spaces. Not at all. I'm actually listening to everyone in that space and then co-creating with them, which is the beauty of this way of designing. So it's about listening to everyone, to all the people who are going to be working, living, healing in that space, and co-creating with them, listening to what their needs are and co-creating with them. It's not about designs that we are going to do and implement it for them. No, we have to be collaborating with all these disciplines and with all the inhabitants or people who are in those spaces.
And to make it easy, or for people who think, oh, I have a big company, how can I do this? We cannot listen to each one of the employees. We can do some sort of different training, which is something that's important in a company. And through this training, we can understand what we can do for groups. We can categorize at some point people in groups according to some similarity and create the spaces accordingly. So since this person, this owner will create the space eventually, let's do it based on studies. It will be more effective even for him or for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how we teach. We have a course. We teach people on biophilic and well-being design, and we explain them what's the role of a designer or a consultant, biophilic design consultant, and what are the specific tasks that we should do in order to get the whole group on board. So starting by talking to the CFO, the CEO, the human resources managers, and then going down into that organization and doing workshops with the employees, explaining about what is biophilic or well-being design to the employees, that they have a sense of that they understand it, and then at this point they're more eager to collaborate and to give the right data back because they're being involved into the process. So yeah, it is very important to have that sense of involvement, and people are aware of what we're doing.
And here also comes the importance of multidisciplinary collaboration, especially, for example, for cities and public spaces, because it's like a workplace. It's people from different communities living all together and sharing spaces on a daily basis for movement, for socialization, for protest, for many shared, experiences,
Yes.
for tourism, for nightlife,
Yes.
for love, for friendship,
I love that.
celebration. These micro moments, I always, use this word micro because it's about micro moments of a micro, detail of micro expression that makes a whole that is very significant for the brain and for our bodies.
Yes. That's well, you said it completely right. That's we have to think about all the different journeys that everyone is having in those spaces. So journey, I call it journeys or travels. Everyone has travel during the day. Today I'm waking up and I'm going to, I know, to the city centers. I have to take the metro and the subway and how do I want to feel when I enter the subway? How do I want to feel, or how do I feel when I get out of the subway? I'm going to work. So you have to think in all those journeys which everyone is doing, and what is about, so what you said, like for love, for socializing, for connecting, for celebrating. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and we have to have all the disciplines together on board, because first we have designers, we're the architects, but we need anthropologists, we need people who are aware of the history of that place, people who are landscapers, working with nature-based solutions, to name it. We need them all together because it's quite a complex thing to co-create a city or a space, a common space. So that's it's the complexity, but also the beauty about that, and that's there comes the importance of creating charrettes, workshops, where all these people come together, and then the methodology and the design starts to take place. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Speaking about workshops and training, do you have any current activities like besides design, maybe this kind of activities, education maybe, or where you share your experience, where you share your knowledge, or how you implemented, this knowledge in design?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for asking that. Yes, my work nowadays is flowing through have like four interconnected paths, let's say, and each one is being rooted in the belief that the design can be a tool for healing and transformation. So that's my thing. The first one is since I've been consulting and designing, I saw the need of creating courses on biophilic design. So I lead a 12-week course called Design Spaces That Heal, Inspire, and Elevate Lives, which is it's more than just a technical course on biophilic design. It's a transformative journey where participants, and we have had participants in all disciplines like artists, architects, interior designers, landscape designers. They're, they are exploring biophilic design, they're exploring neuroscience, sensory awareness, and also the power that space has. And we go really deep. We do meditations, we do forest bathing, and we explain them how to go through all the process of creating a biophilic design space. So they learn by doing, not by just theory. They embody the whole course, and by the end of this course, they're actually biophilic designers. They have to create a biophilic space, pitch for it, tell us about the return on investment, the KPIs, the whole thing. So it's a beautiful work that they do during 12 weeks. That's one of my that's the state of the art course that we're doing. Secondly, through this, and as I told you, I studied business management and interior architecture. What I saw that many designers needed mentoring of how to create their interior design consultancies or the architectural consultancies with this new philosophy. So I mentor designers and creatives on that. Thirdly, I created the Habitarmonia ecosystem, which is linked to the Habitarmonia Academy, which is it's a living community of architects, interior designers, consultants, and makers from all around the world. And what we do is together we're learning, we're co-creating, and we're expanding the boundaries of design. So we have ambassadors in that ecosystem, and we're co-creating courses with them, together with them, on regenerative design, on sacred geometry, and more, all connected and related to well-being in design. And what does Habitat Harmonia do? We are a kind of a bridge between how we experience the design and this and the structural transformation of society. So we want to have or to advance inner shifts and outer systems. And that's the idea behind, like, okay, if you understand that you start to change inwardly, you're going to change outwardly, and then connect to the space much easier and start implementing these theories and philosophies in an easier way. And finally, we have started a new, an amazing project, which is called HEAL, the Human Environment Architectural Laboratory, which is, the most visionary expression of my journey. And HEAL is a collective of passionate experts from all fields in architecture, where we're going to support, nurture, and regenerate life through design. So it's kind of a consulting and design space with the help of other people, other professionals to create spaces that heal. So that's those are the things that I'm right now working at.
Any final words or thoughts you would like to share with us?
There are many things that I could add, Maria, but I think that something which is very simple is the following: design does matter, and we have realized that it does shape how we feel, how we think, how we relate with people and to each other on the earth as well. So I want to stress the importance of this, of neuroscience, of neuroarchitecture, of biophilic design in the built environment, because people think nowadays that there is a lot of greenwashing out there. That biophilic design is just about putting plants, about putting green colors to your wall, and that's about it. No, it's a very various philosophy with a lot of science backed information and papers where we can actually help people heal or feel better in the spaces. So I want to address that it does matter, and the importance of it. So that's
It's important. It's kind of our responsibility to not let these new terms become a trend, take the direction of a trend, to remain as a field, a specialization based on a lot of research and work to reach a result. And a lot of
yes.
awareness about this for people not to take the direction of following maybe some people who would use it as a title or as a trend.
That's true, Maria. It's our responsibility as designers to spread the word and to be advocates of this, and to make an impact on that, and showcase also what we're doing and how to do it. I think that there is still a big gap between what students are learning in architectural studies and what it's nowadays known as new architecture and biophilic design, regenerative design. All these philosophies are very much needed in days such as now. We have stress, like we have climate problems. So there is a need to change. We need a paradigm shift, and I do believe that biophilic design is a great philosophy to help people and planet thrive.
Because eventually, the purpose of having this specialization growing is because we want to take people from a mental condition or a psychological state, to take them and to lift them up to another one. So this is the purpose mainly. That's why we care about talking about it and helping them and sharing or spreading awareness. Nuria, thank you so much for this interesting conversation.
The pleasure was mine, Maria. I would love to talk for hours. So I'm glad you gave me the space to do that. So it was a great pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. Thanks for watching us.